Good morning, everybody, and thanks for joining us. You are tuning Breakfast with Bridgett. I am not Bridgett. I'm Louis Bolden. Thank you for joining us. Bridgett is often hopefully enjoying some much-needed time off. This morning we're going to be calling it Lattes with Louis. So grab a latte, get comfortable. We've got several things we want to talk to you about this morning. The first is Boeing Starliner. It was a gorgeous launch yesterday, but they are having some issues this morning. When they launched yesterday, they were aware of one leak, but this morning they have found two additional helium leaks. So we're going to have Mark Lehman live with us to give us an update on that. We also have Ezzy Castro live at a Gift for Teaching, their big backpack build. It is a very nice event every year that helps thousands of students across Central Florida. So we're going to check in with Ezzy a little bit later. Also, lots of people live in HOAs. In fact, it is getting more difficult to find neighborhoods that don't have an HOA. Some people like all of the rules, other people don't care so much for the rules. If you're one of those people, just hang tight because things are going to be changing. We're going to have a story on that from Treasurer Roberts. So we're going to get to those things in a minute. But first, we want to check in with meteorologist Michelle Morgan, who has been telling us about the weather all morning. And Michelle, we know there are some thunderstorms that are in the forecast, but that rain is much needed.
Yes, the rain is much needed for sure, Louis. We've been so dry. We're below average for the month of June, even though the month just started, but May was fairly dry. We have burn bans in effect for many counties, and also many counties are dealing with drought conditions. So we'll get right into it. This is what you just need to know for your Thursday. It is a dry start to our morning, but we are looking at rain chances increasing through the afternoon hours. Scattered rain likely after 2 o'clock today. So if you have any plans later on, especially after 2, just make sure you have that umbrella nearby and stay weather aware. Now, 1 or 2 thunderstorms could get strong to marginally severe, producing strong winds. An isolated tornado can be ruled out, and quarter-size hail. And it's also going to be a toasty day. Even though daytime highs are forecasted to climb into the upper 90s, it is going to feel like 102 degrees to 106. So that can be quite dangerous, especially if you're working outside. Make sure you're drinking plenty of water. We always tell you, pay attention to your body and take frequent breaks if you are working outside. So as you take a look at the weather setup here, if you look way off to the distance, an area of high pressure continuing to pull to the east, but because of the placement of that area of high pressure, it is going to keep our winds out of the southwest today. So we have that onshore flow, the winds coming onshore, and it's going to increase the humidity as we go through your morning and the afternoon hours. Temperatures are very mild across the area, starting off in the middle to upper 70s. Find your city, that's what you're starting off with. Now, as we get into the afternoon hours, I do expect our highs to climb into the middle to upper 90s. We will be above average today, about 7 to 8 degrees above average across Central Florida, but when you factor in the humidity here, it's going to feel like the triple digits, as I just mentioned. So your rain chances for each city here, we're looking at a 60% coverage in Kissimmee, Orlando, Sanford, and also our coastal areas, a 50% in Lakeland, Leesburg, and the Villages, and Ocala at our lesser percent. So nonetheless, we are looking at a good shot for scattered rain and heavy downpours. Now, what comes with it is the severe threat. The Storm Prediction Center has highlighted about 50% of our area under a marginal threat, which is that highlighted green. So 1 or 2 thunderstorms could turn strong to marginally severe. So when we're looking at the impacts here, we're looking at the winds of medium threat, winds in excess of 40 to 60 miles per hour, especially with those stronger thunderstorms, and that can certainly cause some damage. Now, the tornado threat is very low, but can't rule that out. Enough wind shear, we could get a brief spin up. Hail, quarter-size hail possible, and the flooding threat. Some spots could get between 1 to 2 inches of rainfall, and if you live in a low-lying area, that can pick up quickly and cause a little bit of street flooding. So we'll have to continue to monitor that closely. So timing, so you could time your day accordingly. I do think the morning will stay dry. Because the humidity will be increasing, we'll continue to see our clouds increase, so expect a partly cloudy sky. After lunch, isolated showers and downpours and thunderstorms are expected to develop over Brevard County, also eastern Orange and Osceola County. Can't rule out an isolated shower or storm over Lake County. But look what happens as we get closer to the 4 or 5 o'clock hour, right along the I-4 corridor. That's where we're expecting the sea breezes to collide. So right along that boundary, scattered rain, a few embedded thunderstorms are possible. That's stretching from Kissimmee all the way to Palm Coast. Now that setup will continue as we go through the 6, 7 o'clock hour, now shifting out to our western zones. So Lake County, Polk County, even portions of Volusia County and Flagler County has a good chance of seeing soaking rain. And then after 9, they're making fun of me all day. We'll be fine. Like, I do think we will see partly cloudy skies, a lingering shower possible, but many areas I am expecting the showers and storms to come to an end. Now, I do want to show you the latest drought conditions. We like to show you this just so you have an idea how dry it is. If your grass is not telling you, maybe this map will. We're looking at some dry conditions, abnormally dry in South Lake County, also Western Orange County into Volusia County. Now, that's highlighted in the yellow. Now, the beige is areas that are under a moderate drought, so even drier conditions. And as I mentioned before, a lot of these areas are under a burn ban, so no burning, no barbecues, nothing like that. It's just too dry outside. So keep that in mind for today. Real quick, we are in hurricane season, and it's the latest update from the National Hurricane Center. There are no tropical developments expected in the next several days. I'm not seeing any highlighted areas. We do have a few tropical waves here and there, but overall, everything is looking pretty quiet. So I'll leave you with your 7-day forecast. It is looking like a hot one. 98 today, 60% chance for showers and storms after 2. It's going to be a mild night under partly cloudy skies, overnight temperatures at 76. Now, tomorrow will be above average at 96 degrees, but we have another chance for scattered rain and a few thunderstorms. But look at this as we head into the weekend. We have a lot of events happening across town. We'll be near record heat. So my forecast high for Saturday is 98. Record is 99 back in 1985. And then on Sunday is 99. I really wouldn't be surprised if we briefly touch 100. I know. And it's not even summer. And the record is actually 100 set back in 1907 with lower rain chances. And then rain chances go back up next week. So Louis, get ready for the heat. It will be on as we head into the upcoming weekend.
Yeah, close to record temperatures on the weekend. And we always joke about, oh, it's so hot, it's so hot. But those temperatures can actually be dangerous, especially for people who work outside.
Yes, I was reading through my comments because yesterday was hot as well. I know you felt it. I felt it. And we saw an official high of 97 degrees at the Orlando International Airport. And, some of our viewers were commenting that, it's just too hot too quickly. Yeah. Some said that they felt like they were sitting under a hair dryer because it's just so hot and humid. So it kind of just gives you an idea what to expect for the summer.
Looking at your forecast, it looks like we've got some pretty good, most of the viewing area has a pretty good chance of rain. And we've got a list of burn bans. We've got additional counties going on to the list for burn bans. So this rain could actually be good for those burn bans. And of course, those are in place because it's been so dry.
Absolutely. The rain will certainly be beneficial, kind of to like alleviate also the drought conditions. But I mean, we need a lot of rain to, get rid of the drought that we've been experiencing for the past month or so.
And our line for the morning is, we'll be fine after 9. Crystal Moyer caught on to that. But Michelle, you've been doing something that's really cool, that is really catching on and people are paying attention to. You have been highlighting people's pets in your weathercast. So show us, and you've got more people who have been pinning their pets today.
Yes, we always tell you, send in a picture of your pets on our Pin It page. So it's clickorlando.com/pins, and I showcase or feature your pet every half an hour. So every half an hour show at the beginning of the show. They're usually in my out-the-door forecast. So the latest out-the-door forecast that I have here, let me get it right here for you.
I hope this is going to be my favorite one from the day.
This is Boris and Luna. This was sent in from Apopka. Star as 13 sent this in, and they're just saying good morning. I mean, how adorable are they? And our pets are our babies. So I just love to feature them, just showcasing your pets, and we always appreciate your pictures. And you don't always have to send in your pets if you don't have a pet. Send in a weather picture. We'll be more than happy to show that on air as well. So we always enjoy that. Again, you can always send it to us on clickorlando.com/pins. And tomorrow I'm in for Candace. So I'll be showcasing those pets every half an hour.
And Michelle, neither of us have pets, so we like to live vicariously through other people's pets. Do you have the little guy that was like jumping into the pool? That was my favorite one this morning.
I do. Let me pull them up. Oh yeah. That was, let me see, I have my list right here. I think that was Lacey. That was Lacey. Let me see if okay, here's Lacey. Yep, I was correct. So this is Lacey. Lacey was sent in by Priscilla. I showed her during my 6 o'clock in the morning forecast. Sent in from Ocala. Now she's jumping in the pool. There's actually a ball there. I had to crop it out so it could fit into my graphic. But Lacey was chasing the ball, but of course trying to stay cool. And what a great shot. What a nice action shot of her jumping into the pool.
That is a great shot. And Lacey is trying to do what we all want to do, stay cool.
For real. Absolutely. Absolutely. She's got the idea. So, this morning it'll be fine to go to the beach or go to the pool, but then after 2 o'clock you need to stay weather aware, and of course download our app. It's free. We're constantly updating it. It's not computer generized. The meteorologists, we actually update it, so you're actually getting a live person putting in a forecast, so you know what's going on and so you know what to expect.
That is perfect, Michelle. We all want to be like Lacey and jump in the pool.
Yeah, for real.
Michelle, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me on Louis, or Latte with Louis.
Lattes with Louis, yes.
Latte with Louis.
Thank you, Michelle. We'll check in with you later. And next up, we want to talk about Boeing Starliner capsule. It was a beautiful launch yesterday. And even when it launched yesterday, they knew that there was a helium leak. But this morning, they found out they have 2 additional leaks. So we want to bring in News 6's Mark Lehman, who has been reporting on this issue all morning. And Mark, the first question I have for you, how big of a concern is this?
Well, not enough of a concern to call off or postpone the docking with the ISS that's planned for later this afternoon at 12:15. There, of course, is some concern because they brought it up last night when the astronauts, Butch Wilmore and Sonny Williams, were about to go to sleep for the night. They spoke with them about it and decided to let them get some rest, and went ahead and troubleshooted the issue throughout the night. So then the 2 astronauts woke up at about 4 this morning, and they started going through their procedures and everything. And Commander Wilmore was basically like, "Hey, we'd like an update on the issue, like what is going on with this." And Mission Control got back to him, let him know that they've been able to troubleshoot, get the pressure back to where it needs to be in two of the valves, and decided that they're in a position where they can move forward with the docking at the ISS. And but the question now is, even though pushing forward with that, is this going to create an issue for the rest of the mission?
Mm-hmm. And Mark, we know that they are extremely well prepared. They train for everything. We know any little thing can scrub a launch, but they are so well trained that I'm sure they're prepared for this. And it's good news that they can still land at the International Space Station.
Yeah, and they had to shut down basically the areas that were affected by this helium leak, and affected 6 out of 28 of the propulsion systems. That's what the helium is used for, and that's important if you're going to be docking with the ISS. You have to be able to maneuver properly into the correct position to get it just right, and they were able to actually reopen 2 of the 3 valves. I just learned within the last hour or so, and they're going to reopen the third manifold probably about an hour from now, as they do their as they do their burn as they're approaching the ISS. So it looks like it's going to be okay for that. As far as docking is concerned. And Boeing does say that they do have enough helium. They believe they have enough helium uh, to last the entire mission. But at this point, we don't really know what the extent of the leak is at this point. We don't know how severe it is, and we're hoping to get an update on that later this afternoon during a press conference once they do dock with the ISS.
Well, Mark, we were just looking at video of that launch, and it was really picture perfect when it went up yesterday. What was the feeling? I know you were you were talking to people who had come out to see it. What was the feeling from the public and mission managers when it took off yesterday?
Oh yeah, I mean this was just a stunning launch. Everyone out there was super excited for this because it had already been scrubbed twice. Actually, a few of the people I spoke with there yesterday said that they were at the same place over the weekend on Saturday and hoping to see the liftoff happen. Of course, it didn't. They were disappointed, but they came back and they weren't quite sure if it was going to happen or not. But then, of course, it did. We did have some cloud cover, kind of ducked behind the clouds for a few seconds, but then reemerged. And everyone was very excited to be able to witness that. Basically, a historic launch. Is the first time Boeing has been able to launch astronauts into space, and and it was a relief for mission managers as well too, because they've been working at this for years, and they had lots of setbacks and delays during that time. It's probably about a 10-year process when it comes to development, and there were a lot of missteps along the way. But it actually happened yesterday, and it went off without a hitch, despite the one helium leak that they did know about going into this, but they decided that that was within the parameters. It was fine to continue with that, continue with the launch yesterday. And then these two new helium leaks popped up last night, kind of putting a damper on yesterday's launch. But I mean, what they say space is hard, so yeah, they kind of deal with it as it comes along the way. And this is something that the engineers are able to deal with and create workarounds and try to create a fix to the issue. But it looks like everything at this point is going to be good for the docking with the ISS. Beyond that, though, is really the unknown at this point.
Well, Mark, we know the astronauts are well trained. We know mission managers are monitoring this every second, and we know you're going to stay on top of it as well. So thank you so much for your reporting. We appreciate it.
Sure thing.
And this morning, we have some other big news about Disney. Florida's Tourism Oversight District has given the initial sign-off to a new $17 billion development plan. Now, nothing specifically has been announced yet, but it does open the door if Disney were to choose to open a fifth theme park. So News 6's Catherine Silver explains.
It's a great, big, beautiful tomorrow shining at the end of June 12th.
This is an inside look at how the magic is made. Wednesday, the board that oversees the Disney World District gave their first approval of a major development deal. It would result in the company investing up to $17 billion in Central Florida in the next 15 years. And it paves the way for a fifth major park if there is demand.
I only wish we could have gotten here sooner, but I'm glad we're getting here today.
The deal's terms also give Disney permission to build 2 more smaller parks like water parks. They could also add 14,000 hotel rooms and more retail and restaurant space. It's music to the ears of business owners at Disney Springs like Wine Bar George.
My wife and I's families, if you go back all the way to the 50s, have operated small businesses in Central Florida for about 100 years combined. And the one thing that we're sure of is that investment and reinvestment guarantee growth and excellence.
Splitsville Luxury Lanes, Homecoming Florida Kitchen, and Everglazed Donuts and Cold Brew. It shows that the district and Disney are ready and willing to resume working together to do good things for the state of Florida.
Both Disney and the governor-appointed board of supervisors that oversees the district negotiated the new agreement after ending their 2-year legal battle in March. This deal lays the groundwork for 2 decades of growth. Disney's footprint in Florida could get bigger. In return, Disney would have to invest in road projects and other infrastructure around the parks that would benefit both visitors and those who call Central Florida home. They've also agreed to use Florida-based companies for half the project and invest a minimum $10 million to build affordable housing. In Orlando, I'm Catherine Silver, getting results, News 6.
Catherine, thank you. So we will stay tuned to see what is next for Disney. Another story we want to talk about this morning is an annual event that is always such a big event. We're talking about 30 Central Florida companies coming together to build more than 21,000 backpacks. There was a really interesting stat that I read this morning, and I'm going to tell you about that in just a minute. But first, we want to bring in News 6's Ezzy Castro, who is on the scene there. Good morning, Ezzy.
Hello, my friend. How are you?
I am fantastic. It is nice to see your face.
Oh, likewise. Look, I think, and don't tell the producer, I think we're going to change today to Breakfast with Bridget with lattes with Louis. I think that's what we're going to change the show to.
I love it. I love it. I don't know how much Bridget would like it when she gets back, but for today, it's going to be lattes with Louis.
For today, lattes with Louis. I love it.
So, Ezzy, let me tell you this. I always knew that this was such a big event, but I just read a stat that was staggering. It says more than 70% of public schools in Orange County or in Central Florida are considered high need, and thousands of students every year show up the first day of school totally unprepared with no supplies. And that's what this event is all about.
Every year, Louis, I know a Gift for Teaching. This is one of their big projects, events. And, I cover it almost every year. I didn't last year because I was on maternity leave, but I am looking forward to seeing, I feel like every year they get bigger and bigger, right? Because I remember 2 years ago, we did this event at Valencia College, and then this year it's at the Orange County Convention Center, which we know is massive. So, I mean, you can just imagine just how many book bags we are talking about. But yes, I'm married to a teacher, and he tells me all the time that he sees it. He sees students that come in and they barely have anything, let alone a backpack. So a lot of these parents do struggle to get supplies for their kids right at the beginning of the school year. And so it is important to have those school bags and to have those supplies, especially for these teachers. They want to make sure that their kids are good to go. So I'm very excited. We are actually on the way. I don't know. You can see Marcus right there, our photographer. He's driving. We're almost to, Louis says hi, by the way. He's waving hello. And so we're on our way to the convention center just now. But I'm really glad that you did bring up that stats, because it just gives you an idea of that this is what very well needed.
And, I know your hubby is a teacher. I have a cousin who is a teacher, not here in Florida. She's in Chicago. But you see that all the time. I am amazed at how much of her own money that she spends on supplies, because students come to class and they can't get it at home.
Right. And, you will see those teachers that go out of their way and they, spend out of their pockets just to make sure that their kids are good to go and they're not left out, But I want to also bring up the volunteers that go to this event. They are not messing around, because I'm just going to kind of dig down here. This is like a real deal. They're like divided in teams, and it's like, all right, whoever wins first gets a prize type of thing. So they're on a mission. It's not just, hanging around and packing up the book bags. No, this is like a serious mission among the volunteers, which we're so grateful for, because we see volunteers from all sorts of businesses around Orlando that come here, and they look forward to this event every year. So it's great to always see them too.
And you know what, Ezzy, it's so cool that you have been involved with it for so many years. As a reporter, I'm sure it's nice for you to cover a story like this, where it's going to help so many kids. What are you personally thinking about when you are at this event?
I just love meeting folks, and I love meeting, Louis, I remember one year I interviewed a teacher who came to the event, and she's like, I just want to help and volunteer because I get it. I get it, and I want to be a part of this. So it's always those little stories that you find within the volunteers. And of course, I love the team over at Gift for Teaching. Jan, the president, she is so great. She is so thankful that so many come out to this event, and people every year learn about it too. So, they might see it on TV this year, and they might be like, okay, well, next year I'm going to go do this event, and I'm going to be a part of this. And it's funny because Marcus and I were talking about, well, it's June 6. The kids just got out of school and we're all already talking about back to school. But you got to keep in mind that it takes a lot. It takes a lot. It takes an army. You got to get those book bags prepared, and also it's the delivery. So in a few weeks, those book bags will be delivered at several schools here in Orange and Osceola County. So yes, I know school ended, but that doesn't mean that the work stops. Now we got to keep on going. We got to make sure our kids are good for the school year.
That's a good point. You know, the kids are like, look, we just got out of school. Can we not talk about school for
I
just
know.
a little while?
I know. I mean, if I was a kid, I'd be like, please let me just breathe and enjoy my vacation. But we get it. We get it. And, but again, it's also important that, we get the work done.
That's right. It is helping a lot of kids, and we have the right reporter on it. You are such a compassionate person. I love your reporting.
Thank you.
I adore you. You know that.
Aw.
So thank you so
And
much
I
for
adore
filling
you.
Oh, thank you so much. It is mutual. So thank you so much for joining us, and we'll check in with you later on, Ezzy.
Sounds good, Louis. All right, bye.
Take care. And thank you guys so much for tuning in this morning. That is the end of Lattes with Louis. It's only changed the name for the day. When Bridget's back, it'll be Breakfast with Bridget again. But thank you so much for joining us. Take care.